Good morning, everybody. So today I wanted to talk to you about why the narcissist will miss you in regards to your fuel. So we all know that they run on negative energy and they can't produce positive energy because they have no factor of love. And everything good that would cause you to vibrate high, to have the ability to boost yourself up when you are down, the narcissist doesn't have that ability because they do not have the factor of love. When you are missing love, it's almost like you're missing chromosomes or something, because as you will tell when dealing with the narcissist, that outside of the love, it causes you to become evil. And we know its effects, although we also know that there is a spiritual orchestration as well, which is negative energy from a different dimension that's also affecting us, number one. But they cannot produce energy, and that's why you will see and hear different things from people. And I have seen this in a photo that somebody had sent me, somebody I was dating, that they can look ashen gray if they do not get the correct fuel. And I have seen that. But it's because they need the body, the biological organs, and they need energy, good energy, to prosper. When you cannot produce energy, I personally believe because they're dealing with entities, they cannot produce it. It's almost like it's a dead body. I mean, it's often something I've thought of, because for them to be running around like they do, and if they don't get it, they collapse, almost as if it's like their meal, like a vampire. If we don't get fed them, we would perish. So they have to run around. That's why they have so many sources of supply and so many people in their web. We call it a web. And they try to keep you stuck in their web. Anybody that comes into their life that they can draw fuel off, they are supply. It could be a son, it could be a daughter, it could be a mother or father. And we usually generally talk about the love partner situation because that's what we dealt with, but we also dealt with it in our families. And so what they will miss is that when you're the primary supply, you have the ability to fuel them up on a daily basis, and you really didn't question it like you should have. I mean, now you do because you're awoke, but this is the type of stuff that now that you're not around, they have to run out there, and instead of seeing a source of supply for typically a narcissist cycle is kind of around 3 to 4 months because they're so toxic, because they don't have you for supply and you were like the one-stop shop. Now they have to run around to like 10 different people to get the amount of fuel they were getting just off you. And they drain you so fast, and you'll start to catch on. So what they have to do is they have to break up with you, ghost you, whatever. They also get bored in that amount of time. But I believe it's all built into the construct, because the parasite in them is causing them to move on because they need more fuel, and the parasite is what's bored. It gives them that feeling because they need to be fueled up, and demons are lustful, so they can't just live in contentment. There's no contentment with a narcissist. That's why they're very impulsive, and they can have a family and children and everything and go out and just cheat because today somebody was attracted to them. But they also have the ability to come home and act as if it's no big deal. See, empathic people, or general humanity, people that feel love, if we were to do something like that, it would be devastating, the after effects, even if nobody found out. And so these are some of the problems with the narcissist. There's different ways that they get fuel from you. I mean, one way is sexually. When you have intercourse with somebody, all your walls are down and your emotions are flaring. And so if they wanted to really get a lot of your fuel and you are unwilling to give it to them because you are gray rocking, then they will perform sex with somebody. And that's why a lot of times that they are impulsive, because they need a big boost in fuel. And it does several things. I mean, it's duping whoever their love partner is, so they feel that they gotten over on them. They get adrenaline from that. They get adrenaline from cheating on them. Adrenaline hits, and adrenaline is like how we feel when we're in love. They feel a flip of that. Everything that is good, there's a flip to whatever the enemy is going to be, the flip of whatever good is. So whatever our feelings of love are, then their feelings of duping, destroying, destruction would be the same as love to us. And that's why it talks about that you don't want to be with somebody who you're unequally yoked with, because the this is the poster child of what unequally yoked truly looks like. Unequally yoked at its best, at its worst, is somebody who what you consider love, they consider destruction. And that's kind of what you're dealing with. But they will fuel up from that. They will fuel up. And that's why when they're impulsive, they'll have sex with people impulsively, because they can draw all their fuel off them. And if that's the case, then they get a large boost of that negative energy all at once. And so this is what will hit the individual later that did this with them. They will get a huge piece of karma, or reaping what they've sown. So this to me is like an egg of negative energy. Instead of just getting some of the vibrations through them manipulating your energy fields to get you to react instead of respond, this is intercourse, and so all your fuel is up for grabs, which means they're able to dump all of theirs on you. And all that negative energy is bound to cause some heavy duty karma, reaping what you sow, however you want to call it, in your life in the near future. So it's kind of like when you're dealing with the narcissist on a daily basis, you may not be, if you're just doing the reactive abuse, that reaping is not going to be as bad as the sexual reaping. And they also do things like sex magic and stuff, where they would have intercourse with you, and they would be thinking about what they do is they manifest with your fuel, because they have dirty fuel. Their fuel or their negative energy can't do anything good. The entities in them, there's nothing good in them. So they're always performing some sort of manipulation. And manipulation is witchcraft in itself. It's to pretty much twist things up, to dupe people all the time. And that's what they do. But how they really are able to open your balls up to get your fuel outside of the, reactionary type of situations where they get you to react, and then you're pushing your energy out because you get reactive and passionate about whatever it is. Sometimes it's like, I can't get this through your head, is what you're thinking. I got to say it 50 times, and they can get you to a point to where you're like, what the hell, man? Are you, do you have like some sort of an issue, Like, are you not receiving what I'm explaining to you? That's kind of how you start to feel in some ways, because of the way that they respond, the way that they act, the way they operate. Especially, I'm talking about the unawoke, of course. And so you get more and more. And sometimes it's a buildup of over several days or weeks of this. And then they're able to draw that fuel off. But there's other ways where they really get in control of your emotional field extremely, is the longer you're with them. Because the longer you're with them, the longer you are believing that they are actually trying. Because a lot of times the empath will go down the road because we care and we don't want to judge, and we don't want to prejudge. We know that they need healing at some point, so then we want to fix them. All of these things get us to try to understand, to try to walk in their shoes, and to also try to help. And when you're doing stuff like that, you're also trying to believe them. This is where it's detrimental, because you're trying to believe them. Now what they do is they're gaslighting, and they're blame shifting, and they're projecting, and all of these things. Because you want to believe them, and because you're in covenant with them, these are things that you are trying to do. And so those walls are open to trying to understand, but you can't understand crazy. And you can't understand rebellion. If you're humanity, humanity is going to be, generally speaking, I'm talking about regular people when I say humanity. They're going to be trying to do the right thing. And these individuals purposefully do the wrong thing. That's what manipulation is. So when they do this and you're believing them, they get you sidetracked so bad. We call it wobbling. It's like, you're not standing on 2 firm feet anymore, or when they get you off balance. And this is what the narcissist does. They love bomb you, and and that's new to you. Then they devalue you and hit, I call it, you go from the highest peak of the mountain to Death Valley. Okay. And then they start to destroy you as they chip away at your self-esteem and your ego. From there, you start to obey them because you're walking on eggshells, and you don't want them to leave because they had just performed a love bomb on you, and you've never experienced that type of a hit before. And so then they ghost you for a few days, and then they come back, and then they're not answering your calls, so they start breadcrumbing you. The breadcrumbing is them giving you the carrot, and you feel good, and then they hit you with the stick, and they knock you back down, and then they give you another carrot. And so the breadcrumbing is like intermittent reinforcement, which is highs and lows, highs and lows, highs and lows. And this messes up your serotonin, your cortisol, your dopamine, and it gets it to where you are now addicted to them. And now you need another hit. That's why when they go away, you're like chasing them and trying to convince them that you have me misunderstood. When they get you on this pathway, you don't know what to believe. I mean, now you don't believe yourself. You don't believe your intuition. You don't have any self-esteem. And you've been going through them for everything. And that's kind of what eggshells lead to. You going to them for validation. You going to them for permission. And you trying to obey them. And this is how they put you in this codependent state. But for them to be on the same level as you, they also have to break you down to their level so that they can get you on their level. See, but this is not the level that you reside on. This is the level they reside on. This is what they're comfortable with and used to. They're used to chaos. We're used to order. They're used to low vibration. We're used to an elevated vibration. And when they get you like that, that's where the rumination starts. You're just spinning in your head because you're like, where are they? What are they doing? They perform triangulation on you with everybody, coworkers, friends, exes. And so there's all these little inklings of what they could be doing, because they could be doing any of it. And chances are they are doing it, all of it. But even if they aren't, they want you to get in that mode, because it gets to where your walls are all, it's like, do you know when you had a force field, if you had a force field around some kind of, I know they don't exist, but if you had a force field around a base, you know, like let's say it's futuristic and they're able to have this force field, it's everything that hits the force field, it can't penetrate it, and you're inside the force field. Well, if you could picture that as your energy field, those are your protective measures energetically. When they start to get you all twisted up from the love bomb, now the devalue, now they get you walking on eggshells, they start controlling you through your emotions. They get you to react. Then they have an intercourse with you. Then they're ghosting you. Then they're breadcrumbing you. All of these things are hitting you. They're I call it like the Big Mac, because a Big Mac has like, it's got like a piece of bread, a patty, it's got lettuce, it's got tomato, it's got cheese, another piece of bread, and then a patty, and then special sauce, and then cheese, and then another patty, and then the bun. This is how they layer all these manipulations. It's insidious. So it's slow going. It's like in a week, you may just get one more layer added on top of the other one. And then by week 3, you have 2 more. And then by week 5, you have another one. And they're layering all these manipulations on top of one another until you're out of fuel. But it opens up your aura. I mean, your force field, it's like someone hit the button and the force field came down. And you're like a city without walls. You know, in antiquity, they would talk about, castles had walls and cities had walls around them, because everything that had to come at them had to be bow, spear, or sword, or on foot, or by chariot. If you didn't have walls back then you weren't lasting very long around your kingdom. Well, if you can picture this as your kingdom, and with no walls around it, and you're back in antiquity where everybody's still on foot, you're in trouble. And that's how bad it is. And so these are things that they do. And then when, like I said, when you have that positive energy, you're pushing it out, and they're always sucking their negative energy. So when you push it out, it goes right into them, and then their fuel goes into you. And when that fuel goes into you from the reactionary abuse, and once they get you flipped on your head upside down, remember I told you the enemy is upside down, so are these individuals. Everything they do is upside down. And when you react or have intercourse, or you only have a three-legged chair, so to speak, you're susceptible all the time to receiving their fuel. And that's why you're completely hijacked. And that's why if you're going to heal from narcissism, the first thing you got to do is you got to take that emotional field back. So these are some of the reasons why the parasite gets the narcissist to run around and have sex with so many people and have so many love partners, because the parasite needs the fuel. And anytime they have the ability to add another extension of themselves, they will, because they like power and control and they're insatiable. And the emotional field is the best way to get at your fuel, and it's the easiest way. It's the easiest way is just, you just have to lie and manipulate people. And if you do it long enough and they trust you, that's why they perform the love bomb, to get you to trust them and to love them. And that's when they play with you. And somebody had said that you're just an object. I mean, which I've known, of course. But what I'm saying about being an object is they play with you like a toy, like an object, after they get you hijacked. And some of this is just because the parasite is pompous. So they do these things. You notice they come in vulnerable, but when they leave, they're pompous, because they're taking all your fuel with them, your blood, sweat, and tears, and they're leaving all their garbage with you. Their negative energy, their sin soul energy, and your good soul energy is going right out the door. And this is how they were able to get at the narcissist, through their emotional field. Trauma. That's why they also stalk you. They stalk you because you're their property, but you're property. And because you're property to them, then they own you, and they're stalking their prey. And I don't know if you ever gotten that assassin stare, the deadened stare of the narcissist staring at you, but that's one of the freakiest things you'll ever experience. But anyway, that's it for today. Love y'all. Until next time. Soul Jeff. Peace be out.